Ethan Miller locked the metal shutter of his small auto repair shop just as the winter wind swept through the streets of Chicago. Being a single dad hadn't been easy. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years earlier, Ethan had been raising his 8-year-old son, Noah, on his own. Every day was a balance between work, parenting, and survival. Money was always tight, but Ethan never complained. He believed that as long as he stayed honest and worked hard, life would somehow move forward. As he turned toward the bus stop across the street, something unusual caught his eye. 2 little girls, no older than 6, stood huddled together under the dim streetlight. Their jackets were thin, their shoes soaked, and their faces pale from the cold. One of them was quietly crying while the other tried to comfort her, holding her small hand tightly. Ethan hesitated for a moment. The city wasn't always kind, and he'd learned to be cautious. But something about the girls, their fear, their innocence, pulled at his heart. He walked over slowly and knelt to their level. "Hey there," he said gently. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" The girls exchanged nervous glances. "Our mom went to get help," one of them whispered. "She told us to wait here, but she hasn't come back." Ethan checked his watch. It was nearly 9 p.m., and the temperature was dropping fast. He asked if they had a phone. They nodded but showed him a device with a dead screen. The battery had completely run out. Without thinking twice, Ethan removed his jacket and wrapped it around their shoulders. "Come on," he said softly. "You can wait somewhere warm." He took them to his nearby apartment above the shop. Inside, it was small but clean. Noah looked up from his homework in surprise as Ethan explained the situation. The twins slowly relaxed when Ethan offered them hot soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. As they ate, they told him their names, Lily and Lucy, and that their mom was supposed to meet someone nearby for work. Ethan tried calling the police but decided to wait a little longer, hoping their mother would return. He charged their phone, but there were no missed calls, no contacts he could reach. Hours passed, and exhaustion settled in. Concerned for their safety, Ethan prepared the couch with blankets. He made sure the door was locked, the heater was on, and that the girls felt safe. Before they fell asleep, Lily looked up at him and said, "Thank you for not leaving us." Those words stayed with Ethan long after the apartment went quiet. That night, as the wind howled outside, Ethan sat awake, wondering who their mother was, and praying she would come soon. He had no idea that by opening his door to 2 frightened children, he was standing at the edge of a moment that would change his life forever. Morning light filtered through the thin curtains of Ethan Miller's apartment. He hadn't slept much. Every sound from the street made him sit up, expecting to see a worried mother rushing in. On the couch, Lily and Lucy were still asleep, wrapped tightly in blankets. Ethan quietly prepared breakfast, unsure of what the day would bring but determined to keep the girls safe. Noah joined him in the kitchen, whispering, "Dad, are they okay?" "They will be," Ethan replied, offering a tired smile. "Sometimes people just need help." Just as the girls were finishing their pancakes, the sound of tires screeching outside broke the calm. A sleek black SUV pulled up in front of the shop, completely out of place on the worn street. The driver's door flew open, and a woman stepped out, panic written across her face. She scanned the building desperately before her eyes locked onto the apartment window. Seconds later, there was a frantic knock at the door. Ethan opened it cautiously. The woman rushed past him, dropping to her knees as she pulled Lily and Lucy into her arms. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered their names again and again. The twins clung to her, crying too. "I'm so sorry," the woman said through sobs as she finally stood up. "I'm their mother. I've been looking for them all night." Relief washed over Ethan, followed by concern. She explained that her assistant had mistakenly dropped the girls at the wrong location during a chaotic evening of meetings. Her phone had died while she was trying to reach them, and by the time she realized the mistake, hours had passed. "My name is Claire Robinson," she said, taking a deep breath. "I don't know how to thank you." Ethan shrugged, uncomfortable with the attention. They just needed a safe place. As they talked, Ethan noticed small details, the expensive watch, the tailored coat, the calm confidence beneath her panic. When a security team and a lawyer arrived moments later, the truth became clear. Claire Robinson wasn't just any mother. She was a self-made millionaire, founder of one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country. Claire turned to Ethan, her voice steady now. "You protected my daughters when you didn't have to. Most people wouldn't. She offered him a check, more money than Ethan had ever seen. His hands trembled as he gently pushed it back toward her. "I didn't do it for money," he said quietly. "Anyone would have done the same." Claire studied him, surprised. No one had ever refused her help before. Instead of insisting, she smiled, a genuine, grateful smile. "Then let me help you another way." Before leaving, she asked about Ethan's life, his shop, and Noah. She listened closely, truly listening. As she hugged her daughters goodbye to Ethan and Noah, she said, "This isn't the end of our story. I promise." As the SUV drove away, Ethan stood in silence, unaware that his honesty had left a deeper impression than any favor ever could. Something told him that life, which had been so heavy for so long, was finally about to shift in a way he never expected. Weeks passed after the night Lily and Lucy had stayed with Ethan Miller, yet their presence lingered in his thoughts. Life slowly returned to its usual rhythm. Ethan worked long hours at his auto repair shop, fixing engines by day and balancing bills by night. Noah went to school, proud of his father but unaware of how close they were to a turning point. One quiet afternoon, a familiar black SUV pulled up outside the shop. Ethan wiped grease from his hands, expecting a customer, but his heart skipped when Claire Robinson stepped out, smiling warmly. This time, she looked calm, confident, no longer the frantic mother from that cold night. "I told you this wasn't the end," she said. Claire asked Ethan to sit down and handed him a folder. Inside were documents he barely understood at first: investment proposals, business plans, and legal papers. She explained that she had spent weeks learning about his shop, his reputation in the neighborhood, and his work ethic. Customers trusted him. Employees respected him. What he lacked wasn't skill, it was opportunity. "I want to invest in your business," Claire said. "Not as charity, but as a partnership." Ethan was stunned. He tried to refuse, but Claire stopped him gently. "You didn't see two lost girls. You saw two children who needed protection. That tells me everything about you." With Claire's backing, Ethan expanded his shop. New equipment arrived. The building was renovated. He hired and trained young mechanics from the community, giving them a second chance just like someone once gave him. Business flourished, but more importantly, Ethan never lost his humility. Months later, Claire invited Ethan and Noah to a charity event in New York City. Lily and Lucy ran to greet them, laughing like old friends. Noah smiled wider than Ethan had ever seen. That night, Ethan realized that success didn't always come from chasing money, it came from doing the right thing when no one was watching. Over time, a deep friendship formed between Ethan and Claire, built on trust and shared values. She admired his honesty, he respected her strength and devotion as a mother. Together, they launched a small foundation to support single parents struggling to stay afloat. One evening, as Ethan closed his now thriving shop, he looked up at the city lights and felt something unfamiliar: peace. He had once believed kindness was a weakness in a hard world. Now he knew it was a quiet strength, one that could open doors no amount of money ever could. From that cold night onward, Ethan's life was no longer defined by loss, but by hope, proving that even the smallest act of compassion can return in ways far greater than imagined.